The brain is very obedient, and we know so much about the brain.
It's obedient because we only talk to the parts of the brain that will respond reliably. If there are parts of the brain that don't work properly, we stay away from them until they've somehow benefited from neighboring surges of growth. And then they start to function a little bit more reliably, and then we know. So that's why the exercises are so fast, because we know exactly where it's going, and the response is 100% all the time.
Yeah. I would love to know more about how each of these, you said that Kim was saying that, Claudie, that you keep developing new games. So how do you identify, like, how do you identify when somebody is dealing with anxiety, for example, or somebody like me that was, I couldn't find pleasure in things. Something about the neurotransmitters in my brain weren't functioning in the right way. How do you identify, how do you put these different pieces together, and how did you figure out how to encourage that growth in the different parts of the brain that needed growth?
Well, I don't want to send every good thing towards Kim. I'm the best for sure in that little spot, but he's the best at the other places. But he is so smart. And one reason why he is so good is he's the first person in the world to have had environmental enrichment, sensory enrichment as a baby.
Guinea pig.
Yeah. And so he's systematized things. He said, you need to be organized. So I created a questionnaire that looks a lot like a questionnaire you would fill in as a psychiatrist and the doctor and the physio, like combining everything that your brain does. And typically I would do it with the person and ask the person, okay, rate it. Yeah. How is this for you? I have one question that I ask to parents, and I have a lot of fun with it, which is attention span.
Yeah.
So there is a question. So how is attention span? And we have different ratings, and the parents say, oh, it's horrible. So I say, wait a minute. When he is doing something he likes or she likes, how long can he stay? With the device for hours. Okay, no problem with attention span. He has problem wanting to pay attention to what you want him to pay attention.
Yeah.
So we fill in a very neurological questionnaire. Like, we don't talk about personality. We're very precise, and each issue, depending on the level of the issue, gives me a very good picture of serotonin and dopamine function, about movement, about the communication between the two sides of the brain. So this is a huge, it's a long questionnaire that we fill in that gives me tons of info. Then if I work personally with a person, I also ask for videos because I want to observe. I want to see. So I would have the person write or draw or walk up and down the stairs, like do silly things that are very precise about telling me about the brain.
Yeah.
I was watching recently videos of a young boy. When we started, we have a video of him trying to button up his shirt. And we have a focus on his two hands and so I know corpus callosum issues, fine motor issues, connection, visual and fine motor, like little things that give me a lot of info. So I go from tons of information, and then I speak to the family or the person as often as possible. Typically, it would be every 2 weeks, because a set of exercises is powerful and does the stuff it's supposed to do usually within 2 weeks. Then we want to build upon that. But so there is communication, there is a lot of data that we pick up. And so I don't go in the dark.
Yeah.
The new exercises mostly come from research. And the foot massage is rather recent. It doesn't even exist on the database. We have a head foot massage. Like, it's a different way. Now we demand.
Actually, no, I remember adding the hand and foot massage to the database just because of that power.
Yeah. The study was published 2.5 years ago, where scientists discovered with functional MRI and blood works that giving a foot massage to someone leads the brain to produce, not release more, oxytocin. And in some conditions, and in the case of autism, because we talk a lot about autism, they almost do not produce it. This is the attachment, the emotion hormone. It's crucial. Yeah. And if you don't have it, there are things that you will not be able to do because your brain has no way to do it. So parents have to give a foot massage to the child, just like giving an IV of oxytocin, and the brain does it. The brain is very obedient, and we know so much about the brain.
It's obedient because we only talk to the parts of the brain that will respond reliably. If there are parts of the brain that don't work properly, we stay away from them until they've somehow benefited from neighboring surges of growth, and then they start to function a little bit more reliably, and then we know. So that's why the exercises are so fast, because we know exactly where it's going, and the response is 100% all the time.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the differences with other types of approaches where the kid's not talking, so let's work on talking. Well, no, if the kid's not talking, we're not going to work on talking because it's just going to add stress and it's just not fun to repeat and repeat. But if we can work with fingers are fine. So we'll work on fingers, and then you look at the map, and on the map, fingers and mouth are really next to each other. So you create that surge of activity and growth there. Boom, the mouth is starting to work, if that's the problem.
Yeah. Because
there's tons of different stages of development. One of them, the most fundamental one, is this emotional attachment. Yeah. They want the parents never want the kid to say stuff. They want the kid to say, "I love you, Mom."
Yeah.
And that means, and it's a fundamental aspect of communication, it's a social event. And they don't have the social awareness and the want or the desire to connect because of lots of different things. So if through a simple protocol like hand foot massage, we can inject some fuel in the social engine of the thing, then they'll want to talk. There's tons of therapies that make kids know how to talk. There's nothing that makes them want to talk quite like sensory enrichment.